On this week's episode of the Crushing Debt Podcast, the Entrepreneur's Guide to More Free Time. So, welcome back to this week's episode of the Crushing Debt Podcast. My name is Shawn Yesner, owner and founder of Yesner Law, and I am joined remotely today by your financial coach, George Cabello. How you doing, George?
Shawn, I'm doing well, feeling better. I was a little bit under the weather. Apparently I'm not, again, not having good times in airplanes, and sick people got me sick, but feeling better. And now I'm in the thrills of my daughter applying to schools and applications. And oh, by the way, there's application fees, so it's a fun time to be a dad of a young college-bound daughter. So yeah, that's my story right now, my man.
Yeah, if only you knew someone that could help you budget for something like that.
Well, the good
And
thing is
and
I don't listen to myself either, so I think I'm good. I'm in a good spot where it's like I have really good advice, but sometimes I don't even take it. So it's kind of a weird dynamic that I have right now. But we'll see. One day I'll get accountability with myself.
one day, so we're in that do as I say, not as I do part of the show, right?
I mean, the money is there. That's just good,
the,
which
the,
is good.
cob, the cobbler with no shoes.
There you go.
So,
Love it.
so you do hear a voice, a mystery voice in the audience, which I'll get to in a minute. But so I am just coming off of a 2-day trial, and which actually makes today's guest even more appropriate for what we're going to be talking about because since, gosh, I don't know, since at least Tuesday, Wednesday of last week, I've been focused on nothing but this trial, and I prepared as we went along,
Mhm.
but really when you get within that week or so prior to trial, that's really what you focus on. And so I'm exhausted right now, and I was up until about 12:30 last night trying to catch up on emails because I haven't been able to answer emails in 2-3 days or over the weekend. I think I have something like 17 or 18 messages on my phone, even though my phone message, by the way, says for quicker results, email me. People still want to leave me voicemails. Unfortunately, I had a guy email me yesterday who has a foreclosure sale this morning as we're recording. And he said, can I come in and file a bankruptcy before 10 o'clock? I'm like, dude, it's 9 o'clock in the morning. No, I
Mhm.
can't get a bankruptcy petition up and running in an hour, number one.
Right.
And number two, I've already got stuff scheduled because I've had these last 2 days off, not off, but basically out of touch. So
Right.
I think really what I need is about, I don't know, I think I need about 27 hours in the day.
That's about right.
I need to figure out how to make the day go from 24 to 27. So,
Mm.
having said that, let me introduce our speaker this week. This is her sixth time, the number six time appearing on the show. She was on episode 48, which was called Knock the Socks Off Your Audience. She was on episode 76 talking about referrals for life. She was on episode 146 talking about how to get 13 months in a year. Episode 242, making more money through masterminds. Episode 332, making time to crush your debt. Episode 381, she was not on, but she inspired it in terms of asking us questions about our no spend challenge that created episode 31, which is defining wants versus needs. And so I am happy to have back on for number six, your socket to 'em success strategist, Tiffanie Kellog. So since 2005, Tiffany's been revolutionizing entrepreneurs' paths, unlocking greater wealth, freedom, and joy as the creator of eTiffanies, which are epiphanies inspired by Tiffany. She's known for her signature socks, over 400 pairs now. She's got, um, I wonder if she has more socks than we have episodes. We'll figure that out. Um, a charming Southern accent, her unique ability to inspire and empower others, whether delivering dynamic keynote presentations, training locally and globally, often virtually, writing her next book, or leading her more abundant entrepreneurs community. Tiffany loves helping people create the life they desire. With a passion for blending fun and strategy, Tiffany helps her clients focus on achieving their goals while loving the journey. Her secret to success, loving what she does so much that no one can tell if she's working or playing. So, are you ready to sock it to your challenges, make more money, save time, and have fun? She is the author of Four and a Half Networking Mistakes. She is the author of Knock Your Socks Off Your Audience. She is the author of Socks to Success. And then as of the day this episode comes out, as of the day you're listening to this episode, she is the author of the newly released The Entrepreneur's Guide to More Free Time. Welcome, Tiffanie.
Thank you so very much, Shawn, for having me. Thank you so very much, George, for having me back. It is a pleasure to be here for the sixth time.
Sixth time. So in the introduction, I noticed a little bit of a trend. Episode 146, 13 months a year. Episode 332, making time to crush your debt. You have been focused a little bit on time recently, haven't you?
Yeah, I joke that the past 20 years, 2 decades, has been referrals and networking. My newest topic of conversation is the time aspect, though I started that in 2017. So I don't know that new is the accurate word for it anymore. But yeah, what I found was in working with entrepreneurs to help them have more referrals and where do I find the time to go networking? Like that was something that came up for so many entrepreneurs. And so the answer was, okay, how do we create that more time? Because Shawn, I hate to break it to you. You ain't getting 27 hours in the day.
I thought that's what save 3 hours today and every day meant.
Yes, yes. The intention is we want to save that time. Unfortunately, we are currently bound by the laws of time and physics. I always joke, I'm waiting. This is the time. If you're ever coming back in time, Tiffanie, this is the time. This is now. And then I look over and the empty space in my office is still an empty space in the office. There is no time machine. So I'm going to say time travel is not something that's in my world. So we have to make do with the hours that we get on the clock as it is written. Time is linear.
Right. Well, and I had always learned or understood that you can't, it's not time management, right? You're not really managing your time. You're more using it better.
Yeah. I like to say priority management.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
the other thing, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go, George.
No, I mean, I think, some of the things that you've been, kind of pushing as well is kind of like, yeah, it's not about like making time or anything like that, but it's like, and again, I think it's like making more money in less time, right? How to be more efficient and, how do I prioritize? Because I think a lot of us, we're always chasing the squirrel, right? We're chasing something that's like, oh, that's good. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's it, right? So you're kind of helping us like, okay, that's just a squirrel, or just, let's focus on what's important at this point. At least that's what I take from what I get from you.
So in the business realm, instead of squirrel, because I love squirrels and my gosh, my dogs, they'll sometimes jump off the couch, run out the doggy door, go outside to chase the squirrel. So I'm all about chasing the squirrels. But that just seems like, in the business realm, I'd like to call them BSO, bright, shiny objects. And
Right.
we have to be very careful not to fall victim of bright, shiny object syndrome because, yeah, George, I'm sure we got all the same ads in our feeds. Here's how you make bazillion dollars in 12 seconds while doing nothing in your sleep. And that's, yeah, so often it's a distraction or something that sucks up our time.
So
But how do you?
the
Oh,
book
go
is
ahead.
out today, right?
Yes, today the book is
if
out
you're
and it's free like today and tomorrow. I don't know, it's not going to stay free forever, but it is free right now. So it's free to get all this free time.
well, and we're not recording this on the day it comes out. So this will be released on October 16, which is the official release of the book.
Correct.
Where can people get it if they want to get a copy of it?
So if you go to Amazon, you just go to amazon.com or .ca or wherever in the world that you are. If you put in my name, Tiffanie Kellog, I have a few books that'll pop up. If you put in the actual book name, The Entrepreneur's Guide to More Free Time, it will pop up. We don't have the official link to give you for the show notes, Shawn, but we may be able to have that to you a day or two in advance.
Yeah, that'll work. I can do that.
I'll make a note to get Shawn a note.
Right.
And I'll make a note that way I save time not having to worry and think, did I do that? Did I do that? I've got a place to put it. I'll actually probably email myself a note for the 15th, send Shawn the link so then I can get it to him.
So without giving away all the secrets in your book, give us your favorite tip that you wrote or that you explored as you were writing the book?
Oh my gosh. So this book, first I have to say this. This book is bigger than my first three books combined. So
Wow.
this is a plethora of information and knowledge, and I'm gonna have to go through and do some of my favorites. I've got some of my simplest. But if I can digress, Shawn, because you know me and I just make this up as I go.
Sure.
You were just talking about something that I think is important to acknowledge, and I have a name for it. So this whole, can we talk about your whole trial thing and head down and super focused? Can we kind of
Right.
talk about that?
Sure.
Okay. So, and George, do you have any things in your life that are similar where you kind of got your head down and you're focused on something for a short period of time, a week or two, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's been, kind of focusing on what can I do to help Shawn get some better episodes for these. I'm just kidding, but yeah, no, yeah, there's always something. It's either,
Yeah.
and again, it might not be business. For me, it's some of the things I'm doing personally with my, the kids and getting things ready from that standpoint. So I get where you're coming from already.
All right, all right. So I'd like to call, so let me take one step further back, if I may. A lot of times people try and live their life in balance. And, what's this work-life balance? What does this look like? And I have tested, it is not easy to balance. So when I do like live programs, I actually have people get out of their seats and we're going to balance on one foot. Let's see how long you can stay balanced. The average American under 40 is only like 47 seconds. The higher the age, the lower the time. And we did an experiment back in July. There was a number of us testing it out, and we were all better at being balanced. But even at the end of practicing every day, I can balance for 5 minutes on one foot.
Nice.
And I get bored. Like the guy that won, it's like 78 hours balancing on one foot. I'm like, how do you stay awake? Like I'm bored after 5 minutes. I'm like, but it's really hard to balance on one foot and watch TV because if you're watching, then you get distracted and it's hard to balance. And so, like all that being said, balancing is hard. Yet
My
so many people are trying to live their life in balance. What are you thinking, Shawn?
my first thought was, how did that guy go to the bathroom?
Okay, now I'm like, did he
This
get
guy.
breaks? Did he pee? Like, did somebody like put a towel? Okay, now I'm gonna have to totally go look up this guy. Because I got his name for the book because this is the fun kind of stuff that I like to know. But yeah, now I'm like, did he pee? Because I was thinking about sleeping.
Yeah.
Girl
Yeah.
probably this would be a much harder thing. There's a reason why a guy won this one. In this contest, a guy certainly has the advantage. Though now I'm thinking number two, and we were just going way. So back to this whole thing. I think balance is hard to do in a short term. So I like to use the word harmony. My goal is I want to create harmony in my life and have it more flow. However, there are times in our world, whether it's back to school or okay, we got to get the applications in for the deadline. We've got a trial coming. For me, book writing is often where we really are like, I'm going to put my head down and focus. And I like to call this being off balanced on purpose. Now, there's a couple keys in doing this. Number one, you have to realize that you are going on this off balance on purpose thing, and you can't try and live your life just like that. You have to realize what's going to give. And who do you let know about that? I recently, when I was writing this book, I was like, okay, I'm gonna write. And so I told my husband, honey, I'm off balance on purpose for the next hopefully 10 days. The book took longer, but the book is longer. It wasn't me, it was on the book. Um, and I'm just like, I'm gonna be working and eating and sleeping, but I'm not doing a lot of extra stuff. I'm not gonna, I'm like, I'm not doing meal prep and I'm not worried about this. And can you take care of the dogs? I let him know this is going on and I'm going to need your assistance. So you have to let the people in your world know. Shawn, I'm sure you had one or two interesting conversations with the boys just on, how they're not how they're being, but just, hey, I've got this going on. So we're going to have this or that. Did you enroll the boys at all, Shawn?
So let me tell you about my Sunday. The trial was Monday and Tuesday. Let me tell you about my Sunday prior to the trial. So we got up. I let myself sleep in. I did allow myself to sleep in, although I was so nervous. I think for me, sleeping in, my body woke me up at about 5:30 in the morning, which based on when I normally get up, 5:30 is sleeping in.
Yeah.
I then got to work on stuff I could do at home to prepare for the final prep for the trial. At 11 o'clock, so my son, actually my older son Tyler, who was just bar mitzvahed, gosh, almost exactly a year ago on the day
Yeah,
this
it's been a year,
episode comes
right?
out,
Wow.
got the honor of going to temple and doing a portion of the Yom Kippur services, which as we record, we haven't done yet, but as the episode comes out, he will be finished with. So that was a big honor, but we had to be at temple at 11 o'clock on Sunday morning to practice. So 10:30, leave, drive to temple. On the way home from temple, I then had stuff that I couldn't do at home to prepare for the trial. I had to do in the office. So I dropped the boys off. I drove to the office. I got to the office about 12:15, did what I needed to do in the office. At 1:30, I left and flew out of the office and head home. My older son, had to be at the soccer field at 2:15 for a 3 o'clock soccer game. So I watched the soccer game from 3 to 4:30. I then took my boys back home. Then I had to go to Office Depot because I had 29 exhibits, which ended up being 33 exhibits by the time the trial was over. But I had to prepare the trial notebook. And so that I had to go to Office Depot to get the numbered tabs and the index and all that stuff. So ran to Office Depot. First, I tried Target. Target didn't have the tabs I was looking for. Office Depot next door, ran into Office Depot, got the tabs I needed. I then needed to get my weekly grocery shopping done. Now, I know this is where you're going to tell me I should have just done Shipped or one of those services, but totally different podcast episode. I like going to the grocery store. So ran to the grocery store, did my weekly grocery shopping, got home. I got home and I realized I had one trial binder made. I needed four. So then I went out on the hunt for a 24-hour copy place. I
Jeez,
couldn't find a 24-hour copy place. So I had
they
to drive all
exist?
the way back to my office to use my copier at the office to print out 3 more copies of the trial notebook. Then I came home and me and the boys spent the next hour punching holes and putting a trial notebook together. I think I finally fell asleep Sunday night. Oh, and then I had to finish, preparing and reviewing the case law, reviewing my facts, reviewing what the witnesses were going to say, all that stuff. Um, I think I filled up my gas tank Saturday afternoon and then again Sunday night.
Oh,
And I went to bed, I want to say about 11:45 Sunday night. That I'm tired just telling
Yeah,
that
that's a
story
lot.
again. But yeah, I enrolled the boys to help me at the end. They were putting trial notebooks together while I was electronically filing the exhibits with the court. So, sure, a long answer to a short question.
well, and I think that when we go off balance on purpose and we enroll others in our lives to do that for the short term, whether it's okay, we got to really focus on getting all the college applications in, so we hit the deadlines and we can save, the early admission fees versus the
Right.
full application fees. That when these things happen, that when we can enroll the people in our world and they know it's a short term thing. I was talking to somebody and she's like, I'm gonna run this way till I burn out, and I'm like, you're gonna burn out in 3 to 4 weeks. And that brings me to the tail end of this is when you're going off balance on purpose, you've got to schedule downtime afterwards. Because if you run like this, like crazy, Shawn, as you mentioned, then you're exhausted. And what we often do is we come off balance on purpose and try and go back to normal life, not realizing, like, if we look at this from a machinery standpoint, we've been running their machinery 24 hours a day for 2 weeks straight, where it's really not supposed to be done but 12 hours a day. I'm making stuff up here, it doesn't matter, it's just an analogy, but we don't give it time to recoup. And so I totally embrace and do. I mean, it's been within the past month that I've done off balance on purpose, whether it's for a day or a week. A month is pushing it, y'all. And I think there's a lot of times, like if you see people that they go work for 21 or 28 days on, and then they take a few weeks off, they're kind of living that off balance on purpose. So it's something that's great, especially if you have a goal of I need to get this trial done, or I need to just get the book written, or I need to get all the college applications in. It's a short-term solution, because if we try and live that long term, that's when the burnout comes in.
Do you know the schedule of fire rescue?
Not off the top. I know it's like a few days on, a few days off. It's a
So my best man, my best friend is fire rescue down in Miami. And they do, and I assume cops are the same way, and I assume, different of those types of professions are the same way. But I know for him it's 24 on, 48 off.
hmm,
And then he's got one day a week, and I forget which day, maybe let's call it Wednesday. Whenever his on day, his on 24 hours falls on a Wednesday, he gets that day off as well. So it gives him, 24 on, go, 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 and then 48 off. But
yeah,
if that next day on is a Wednesday, you get a little bit of an extended break. So it gives him, every month he gets a little bit of an extended break.
yeah.
But yeah, fire department figured that out a while ago. Yeah.
I mean, I think you think about the type of job like that too. I mean, we all, I feel like we're always in that fight or flight kind of situation in some of our, so we create that level of stress when it comes to it. And we don't realize, like, it makes sense for such a job because you're putting your life on the line. So wouldn't you think they would need that kind of break so that, again, they can't run at that level, at that high level that we expect them to go for such a long period of time. And yet I feel like I'm not doing rocket science or saving lives and stuff like that. And yet I probably put myself in a position where I feel like there's this level of stress where it's like, maybe I'm thinking I'm working as a cop. My body thinks I'm, running after criminals and, saving fires and babies and things like that. But there's no, for me, it's like go, 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 go. And you're thinking like there's no 24-hour period of time. It's like, no, I gotta clean the house. I gotta do the stuff for the kids. I gotta make sure this is going, the business and the other job and all these other things as well. And by the way, we gotta be, good husbands and good fathers and good this. You get the idea, like right away, I'm already getting stressed out with what I'm trying to do here. But I feel like that's what we do, and we don't realize there is an opportunity for downtime.
Yeah, and I think entrepreneurs are the I won't say that they're the worst. I haven't done like studies, but
Yeah,
entrepreneurs, because like 9 to 5ers, I think it's twofold. Because I think it's mindset, and I think it's also a product of what it is. If we're 9 to 5, I do my job, I go home. I don't have to worry about the state of the factory and how I'm going to pay.
right.
It's very different things. So there is the added level of responsibility as the entrepreneurs. But because we feel that level of responsibility, we let it bleed into stuff. And most entrepreneurs are working way more hours than they should be. However, they're busier than they need to be. And that's where I think entrepreneurs
Mm,
are especially really bad at busyness, but that doesn't necessarily mean business. They're doing lots of activities, but these spin of the like, especially I'm in, like Facebook groups, like, especially like women, and they're like, I've done all of this, and they list all this marketing activities, but I'm like, but you haven't done any selling. Promoting on social media, starting a YouTube channel, those are marketing tasks. Those are not money generating activities.
right, right.
And so when you're starting a business, like you're busy creating all the social media crap that's not bringing 99% of people their revenue. They're getting it other ways. And so it's just about that, we are busy and we've got to, be an amazing spouse and be an amazing parent and be an amazing neighbor and be an amazing child and be an amazing all of this. And when do we ever have 2 minutes to breathe?
Mm.
It's interesting because what prompted the June. So for those that don't know, I don't know if I told you this yet, not George, but I I had made a goal that I was not going to work the month of June 2026. That
Okay.
that
Yeah.
that's my goal. That's what I'm working towards. Now I will still produce podcast episodes, but
Oh, well, thank
uh,
you.
I am not going to work
No,
for
no,
the.
y'all will not be producing podcast episodes.
Oh, shoot.
They
So we
will
got
be
to get ahead,
recorded.
Shawn, or I'm
They
or
will
I'm
be, they
taking
will
over.
be recorded in advance, or they will be
Okay,
delegated to George. One
okay.
of the two.
Nice.
So
Ooh, I like
George
this
gets the
already.
month of June off. by default.
Excellent.
That does not
Excellent.
mean that there won't be podcasts for those of you listening.
Correct.
And this is not like a pre-planned conversation. I am totally putting Shawn on the spot here, which
No,
is
I
why
love it.
he keeps me
Let's
in
put
his,
Shawn on the spot.
this is why he keeps me in his world, I guess.
Exactly.
So no work June,
But
right? That's
so
the idea. Okay.
where that came from was, I took a week off in March not in March, in July. We went on that family
Yeah.
vacation to Disney. I took the week off. I left my computer here. All I brought with me was a book that I read the 10 minutes I had downtime at Disney. Um, and what I realized was I had to work so hard. I had to be off balance on purpose in order to be able to get away for a week. I had to, and what I realized was when I got back, if I work every week as if I'm going on vacation for a week at the end of the week, how much more productive would I be? And that's helped me, at least since I got back from that vacation, to be able to eliminate distractions. So I'll be sitting at the office saying, and I realize I get, ADHD in my own head, and I say, okay, well, why am I doing this? My goal was task A. Why have I started on task B? Let me stop that. Let me go back to task A. And so just keeping it top of mind has helped me a lot.
I
And
like it.
kind of taking that, I like that, Shawn, top of mind to the next level is, would I pay somebody else to do this? Because if you're doing something that you wouldn't pay somebody to do,
Why are you not? Why are you doing it if you're not going to pay yourself to do it? If you're
right,
not going to pay
yeah.
anybody else to do it?
I was asking my husband something yesterday. I'm like, oh, I need to design this. And he's like, is it cheaper to have somebody else do it? Is it less than a beer to have somebody else do it? It was my husband's question. I'm like, yes. He's like, then have someone else do it. And it ended up like I had her do more work. It cost me a little bit more money, but I had her do more stuff. It took it off my plate. And it's like, all right, now I know I have a go-to person to do this kind of task. But yeah, I think it is about what are the distractions, yeah. And if I wouldn't pay somebody to do it, like, why am I doing it anyway? And so this is kind of a time thing and a money thing. Like, if you're doing something around the office and you're like, why am I doing this? And would I pay somebody to do it? Can you just completely get rid of it altogether?
Yeah, we did implement a new strategy at the office that, it's one of those um, BFOs, so blinding flash of the obvious. I had everything was bottlenecking at me, so we would do work for a client. My assistant would do a bankruptcy filing on behalf of a client, and then it would bottleneck at me to get the invoice out. And so we do the work, and then it would be months before we got paid for the work. And so I gave him the authority and I showed him how to create and send out an invoice. And so now he does the work, he sends out the invoice. I maybe, put eyeballs on it to make sure it's being done correctly. He files it, he invoices the client. So now he's reduced that lag time between when he does the work and when I get the check. That lag time has been reduced to less than a week.
Love it.
So,
You didn't
and
have to do anything.
I didn't have to do any, and I actually do less now because I gave him more authority to do it, which freed up my time, like you said, to do other stuff that does make the law firm money.
Yeah. Shawn, the thing is that I've seen in these instances, there's two things you had to do though, right? There was trust of the individuals in the office to be able to manage that. And then you had to empower them. Because
Right.
a lot of things that I've seen where again, companies working with people, we're like, well, I'm going to do it the best. So I have to do it. It's got to be on me because I'm the best and da. And we don't realize, again, I think Tiffanie, it's kind of like, is it worth the time? Is it worth like if you can, again, you can take the time to help someone grow in their space, right? And grow in their skill sets. And yet it also benefits you because in the long run now, you don't have to worry about these kind of things because now you've taught them, you've empowered them, and now you trust them that they're going to get the work done. That's
This
beautiful.
our friend Jason Avery says, if you can get someone to do it 80% as good as you could do it, that's good enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, I would pick and choose. Like, are things I might care about. Like, if I was having a heart surgery, I would probably try and find the best. But I
Right.
think for most of us and what we do in a day to day, 80%, 70% even, 90% is close enough.
Well, I don't have to worry about heart surgery. I'm an attorney. I don't have a heart.
Ah, there you go. All
I was
right.
thinking you're
All
going to
right.
say no heart surgery will touch it because I'm an attorney. I didn't know which way we were going to go.
Whenever I go to a doctor's appointment, I wear my yes nor law shirt. And whenever they say you're an attorney, I go, yeah, I do medical malpractice.
Oh my goodness.
They'll be
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
Don't
And when
don't
you
leave.
can never get back and schedule another appointment and you wonder
I always wonder why I see every doctor only once. It's weird.
why.
Can I just say, I hope the kids are not listening because we're probably saying 70 and 80 is pretty good. It's good enough. So is that good enough in school? I guess, the kids might be paying you off there. So just letting you know.
Yeah, I think it's different things. Yeah, so just like heart surgery, I mean, good enough in school. I mean, a 70, 80% is a C. That is good enough in school. Though if you want to get into a school that's going to give you money for your grades, you need better than.
Right.
Well, and
Oh, y'all will probably love this. I don't know. Oh, maybe I should introduce y'all. I met a woman recently. She's child free. Love it. But she helps people get their kids into school on music scholarships.
Oh,
And
nice.
and I know, Shawn, you've lived in that realm, but there's a lot of music scholarships out there. There's a lot of golf scholarships out there. There's not as many football scholarships, y'all, and
yeah.
academic scholarships, but golf and musical instruments
Hmm.
for free school. Now, George, I would think your daughter, it's a little late for
Yeah.
that.
Well,
She's already working on she's musical theater, so
Oh, okay.
creativity. So
Yeah.
she is looking it's for those rides that way. But yes,
So
there's out
if you
there.
need it, I know a gal that specializes in getting getting musicians scholarships.
There
Huh.
you go. We'll
Would
have
have
to have a
thought that's
conversation.
a
A
conversation
nice
that we
little
would
referral on the
have today.
podcast. I love it.
so this is a debt. This is a podcast about debt.
Oh, is that
So
right?
it is a podcast about debt. So and I think we kind of touched on it earlier in terms of so the example I make is that as we're recording this, I'm waiting for a maid service to show up and clean the house, and I've got a service that comes and mows my lawn. Now, can I clean the house? Absolutely. Can I mow my lawn? Absolutely. But what do you say to the person that comments and says, well, paying someone to mow your lawn is great, paying someone to clean your house is great, but I don't what's the mindset of I don't have the money to pay somebody to mow the lawn, so I'm just going to do it myself.
Yeah. So, and those are really great examples. And I think that as entrepreneurs, especially 9 to 5ers, yes, but entrepreneurs really, because our work is more than just that time. And so who we are bleeds all over the place. And so if we're up till 12, whether it's for work or for our kids' science project, we're still tired. That impacts us. And so I think that as we're evaluating what are the tasks that are going on that I'm spending my time on, is this something like here's the thing. If you love mowing your yard, then more power to you. Keep mowing your yard. Like people talk about laundry service. I think laundry is like so easy. Now, also, let's be honest, we have 2 adults in this household. So and we're pretty not messy people, so it's not that big of a deal. Probably with all the kids and stuff would be a different thing. But like laundry doesn't bother me. So laundry service to me is like no big deal. And so if there's something that doesn't really bother you, that doesn't take away from, that isn't sucking your time and energy, then that's a different thing. But the things especially that take your time or they take your energy, like it's not hard for me to clean the house, but man, it sucks my soul out. And I would much rather, you know,
Yeah.
pay somebody $100 to come clean the house once or twice a month than for me to do it because I have to psych myself up to do it. And, do I really want to do this? And I'd much rather be writing my next book or following up with my clients. And so I think we have to look at 168 hours that we have in the week as the entirety of the week. And if I'm spending 5 hours a week cooking, and 5 hours a week cleaning and 5 hours a week and for some people this is their freaking weekend,
Right.
driving around. If I've got 20 hours on the weekend just doing the household stuff, I've essentially worked an extra 20 hours. And so my brain, while it is not work related, or it is, the brain and the body isn't differentiating, you're still working. And so I think we have to begin to find this harmony of where can I pay people to do the things? And George, you mentioned earlier, like you have to trust somebody. It is definitely a different thing to empower somebody to do your payroll, to do your invoicing, than it is to come cut my yard. And so I think
Yeah.
sometimes it's also about what are the easy things and having someone cut your yard. Or, Shawn, I'm not opposed. If you like to go to the grocery store because you like to go to the grocery store, then more power to you. And
Well, and
those, the joys of picking it. But I also, if I needed those binder things, so what I love, and you don't all have to do this, like Walmart Plus, it's $10 delivery. Like one day I had a photo shoot. Eric Bunch, who you know, was coming here to do it, and I'm getting ready, and my mascara. I'm not big on makeup, but my mascara was dried out, and I'm like, holy crap! I'm doing a keynote presentation, recording. I need mascara. Like I don't look like I have lashes. I'm blonde. This is natural. You can't see them. So I paid $10 from Walmart to have it delivered to my house. I wasn't finished getting ready and it was like at my house like 10 minutes later. The other day there was something and it was like I got like the hour delivery for $5. And so instead of me going to two of the locations, I might have paid more, but I wouldn't have had to gone. Now, sometimes it's my kids wanted this at Target, or I wanted to look at the new colored paper at or this time of year. I love back to school shopping. No kids girl. I love back to school shopping because I love the office supplies. Like these are my pens that I use. I'm a nerd. Plus it's frugal this time of the year. This is the time of year to get your folders and such. Sorry, this is a very long-winded answer of if you like doing it, keep doing it. But for me to have my groceries delivered, I spend less. I buy healthier. Yes, I'm tipping them, but that's a few dollars versus me running to the store. And so it just becomes a trade-off of what do you love do? What lights you up? There's a Publix 2/10 of a mile from the house for me now, and it's never busy. I go to the grocery store now more than I did when it was 5 miles away, but I still get most of my stuff delivered because that's just a time saver for me.
yeah. I mean, for me, the grocery store is kind of related to my late wife. In other words, while all that chaos was going on around me, the one escape that I had, the one time that I had to myself where I could just sit and think and be quiet and decompress was while I was doing my weekly grocery shopping. And
Yeah.
so that's what I enjoy doing.
Yeah.
But to your point, I guess I didn't realize that Walmart had 1 hour delivery. I actually did check Walmart for those tabs and they didn't have them either. But like I said, I basically spent a full gallon of gas or full tank of gas on Sunday driving all over Tampa Bay, where if I had done, some of those delivery services, and yeah, it would have been whatever, $5, $10, whatever, but I spent an entire tank of gas on Sunday. I
Yeah.
probably would have saved a lot of that gas. And last I checked, gas is a little bit more expensive than, a few bucks at Walmart.
Yes, yeah, and that's oftentimes I'm like by the time I get there, the wear and tear, the car, the in and out, like all of that just sounds too much. Like the other day, I'm like, oh, I kind of want to go to Red Robin, but it's in the mall and the parking there is atrocious. And I'm like, I'm old enough now that I don't want to deal with Friday night mall traffic. That's how old I am. But it kept me from going. And so, yeah, there's times I'm like, I don't feel like Walmart because it's so hectic and crazy, or I don't feel like the shopping complex. And so it's one of those you love doing it, keep doing it, and it is this trade-off of how much time is it going to take me? Is it worth it? One of the chapters in the books, which I'm sure you both will appreciate, is it worth it to go around the corner to get the cheap gas? Because you can save 10 cents on a gallon, but if it takes you 2 miles to get there and back, and it takes an extra 20 minutes, yes, you save 10 cents a gallon, so $2, but was it worth there's
Yeah.
a trade-off of trading time for money, and I don't think there's a right or wrong answer. I do think it's wrong to go 20 minutes out of your way to save $2.
Keep it real.
But if it took me like if I could save $5 going across the street and it didn't take much extra time, no biggie. But if it's going to take, we are oftentimes trading time for money, and I'm all about frugality because I am certainly frugal. I say frugal because it sounds better than cheap. Sometimes I'm cheap too. But sometimes it's like spending a little bit more because probably an option could have been, okay, I'm going to put together the evidence binder electronically, and I'm just going to pay somebody. Now it would have been a high premium, I'm sure, to just deliver the 4 binders done to me.
Yeah. Well, and I did do that. I mean, we had hundreds of pictures that I paid somebody. I paid him, gosh, almost $1,400 to print out 3 sets of color copies of all these pictures that filled 1.5 bankers boxes full of color photos that we wanted to show the judge. So
Wow.
that I did do, but that I planned ahead, and I knew that I was going to need them, and I had them on a thumb drive, and I delivered. And so
Yeah.
that I think part of a small part of my issue on Sunday probably was I could have planned it better too.
Ah, gotcha.
So, what is that one of the time saving devices in the book
Is
is,
it
You know,
planning ahead?
for those of y'all that are listening to this, you cannot see the look that George just gave. I don't even have to say anything. George's look just like, Shawn, what you just said, George's look.
Plan. Yeah, I would agree
And
with
for
that.
you.
I would agree with that. Yeah, probably a little bit about planning probably would have saved you a ton of time.
Sometimes life happens
Yeah,
and
I agree.
we can't plan. And sometimes life happens and we're stuck making last minute plans. Sometimes the world comes together and we have all the time to plan perfectly, but we never know which one we're going to get. And it can always happen one way or the other.
Right.
Let me say one thing for the both of you. When I'm listening into the both of you, like when we're younger, right? What's our priority? And we have mentioned in the beginning, Tiffanie, right? It's always about priority. And a lot of us don't, we prioritize maybe money over time. Because
Mm,
when we're young, we're like, oh, we got plenty of time. What do you mean? It's, 20 minutes, who cares? As we get older, though, we start to, hopefully, most of us get a little bit more wiser that, again, time is more precious than money that we spend. And
yeah.
I think that the way we look at it and what we prioritize, I agree. Why waste 20 minutes to save 10 cents in gas? That doesn't make sense. But
Yeah.
when you 17, you're like, oh, I only got 20 cents. I got to make sure I can save, this. So I think it's just, where you are in your life and your time, I guess your time in your life is starting to think. But I think for most of us, I think we want to let's be aware of what our priorities are when it comes to these kind of things. And what you're saying is kind of like, dude, time, you're never going to get time back.
Yeah.
Take advantage of the time that you have itself and start learning it at a young age where it's like, yeah, the more efficient you are with your time, the more you're probably going to make, money wise, and the more things you might get accomplished that are more important to you.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think you bring up a good point because like the book that I wrote is The Entrepreneur's Guide to More Free Time. And so it definitely has this entrepreneurial slant because I feel as entrepreneurs, pay somebody to mow your yard, pay somebody to clean your house, pay somebody to
Do your
deliver
marketing.
to do the basic stuff
Yeah.
because then you can spend your time, energy, and effort. And this is where, like, if you're a 9 to 5er, go test drive the car for the $50 free gift card, or go to the timeshare so you can get the free dinner. If you're 9 to 5 and you're capped out on your earning potential, that's a very different conversation as entrepreneurs and people with side hustles. To me, it's much more, people are like, if things are tight, like let's tight. And I think you do, but it's also about, I'd rather, instead of mowing the yard, let me go work on selling my business. Instead of going to the grocery store, let me go to the networking event. And so it is just about finite, time is finite. We got 168 hours in the week. Where do we truly want to spend it? And I say all of this, y'all, I binged plenty of TV this month. Well, yeah, I'm sure. It's October 1st when we're recording this. I haven't actually watched TV yet, but I promise you, I'm sure I'm going to binge something soon coming up. I love spending hours in the pool just floating around. It's good that it's Florida. We get a longer pool season. I want to, chill in the backyard with my pups. I don't want to work all the time. And I think that when we're efficient with our time, both work and play, we create that harmony, then it gives us more freedom in our day.
Yeah. I became a fan of the television show, the Netflix show, The Lincoln Lawyer. And I know there's
Hmm.
a movie about it. Matthew McConaughey's in the
Yeah.
movie, different actor plays the same character in the TV series. But one of the things that stands out to me in the TV series, one of the reasons he's called the Lincoln Lawyer is he rides around in a Lincoln and he has a driver. And I remember in my early networking days, there was a contractor in one of my networking groups that hired his younger brother to drive him around.
Hmm.
and we all used to laugh and we all used to make fun of him, but in a nice way,
Right.
not mean spirited, but we would always make fun of him. But at the end of the day, while his brother was driving him around, he was closing deals in the back seat of the car. While the
Yeah.
Lincoln lawyer's been being driven around, he's reviewing case files so that he can go from one hearing to the next hearing to the
That's the
next
idea.
courtroom without having that needing that time to prepare. So
Yeah.
even to the extent of hiring a driver, there's money lessons there.
Love it.
I mean, we don't realize how much time let's assume you do that in New York or Philly or LA. How long are you sitting in a car, doing? So imagine you can sit in a car and actually get work done compared to sitting in the car just yelling at the driver, "What are you doing? What are you know?" So I mean, I think this is where if we think simple on time, we're thinking like how can you take advantage of the time itself so you can be productive? And I think that's where again, I think you're all challenging to think a
Yeah.
little differently in regards to taking advantage of the time to do things that you love to make more money with what you do. I mean, it's just it's a great concept. I do love it. I do love it.
I- I'm even thinking now, um, I do have a meeting in the office, and it's kind of driving me crazy because it's one meeting in the office. So now I got to spend basically an hour of drive time to get to and from the office, where if I could somehow move this appointment to in person to a telephone or Zoom, I've now saved myself an hour
There
not
you
driving
go.
around today. Now, at the same time, that's drive time is when I like listening to the podcasts and
Well, there you go. There you
I
go.
so I managed to use that time productively, but and it's been 2 days since I've been into the office. I probably need to get in and make sure it's still standing. But um but yeah, it's one of those issues that I'm constantly thinking, should I work more remote from home? Do I need an office anymore? Which I think the answer is yes, because I don't want clients coming to the house if they want to see me in person. But yeah, I mean, we're in a COVID has taught
Different
us
time.
that we're in a completely different time now.
Yeah, I
So
would agree. Tiffany, let me
uh,
ask you one question real quick, because you have so many nuggets and you have so many, what can the listeners,
eTiffanies, eTiffanies.
right, exactly. But is there one tip you can give to our listeners right now that they can look to implement, based off of your book and stuff? Is there something, again, buy the book, of course, that's
Yeah.
that's the first tip for everybody itself if you want to learn. But is there something that they can take away from this, what they're listening now that they can start today on, being better with their time?
Yeah. So actually, and if I can, if it's okay with y'all, I do have a gift that I do it's a free ebook that we have that is 4.5 easy ways. So if you're watching this today and listening, y'all, you can get the free copy of the entire book. But we do have the teasers if it's okay to share that with everybody.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Is that going to be
Yeah,
okay?
yeah, absolutely. Shoot me the link. I'll put that in the notes.
All right, we'll get that in the notes here so that y'all can check it out. 4.5. The
Nice.
one I want to give you from that. So there's 4.5 easy and simple ways. So I know we've been talking much bigger picture, meatier stuff today, but
Sure.
the probably easiest way that most people can get a ton of time back is taking those lovely electronic devices that you have and turning off all non-essential notifications.
Ooh.
So for me, I get text and I get phone calls. That is the only reason that my phone dings or vibrates, makes noise, brightens up. Because what happens is every time your phone does any of those things I just mentioned, it actually takes 64 seconds to get back focus. And some of you are getting dings every minute, so you're never getting focus. And so by turning off all the non-essential, and that's why I say turn off whatever's non-essential to you. Everybody's different.
Yeah.
Um, like there's times where I'm like working on a project and so like I use Upwork, which is kind of like Fiverr, and so I'll turn on my Upwork notifications if I'm waiting for that message and then I turn it off. If you don't know how to do it, just go to Google AI or YouTube and say, how do I turn off notifications on whatever your phone is? And while you're there, if you want to realize where a lot of your time is going, most phones automatically track how long your screen is on.
Yes.
You can ask AI how to do it. Like yesterday, I'm like, why my my thermostat is on my phone. And sometimes like it's hot and cold and I like to be appropriate. So I might turn my phone up or down. So I had 2 hours of phone time with my thermostat. So I'm like, okay, it's really not, because I'm like, how did I have like 7 hours of phone time? Because I had 2.5 hours of my thermostat. Apparently my phone got on and stayed on. So you do have to look at numbers with, in mind with what's going on, but you should, again, Google, YouTube, or ask AI, how can I find, now my Google hurt me. How can I the time that I've spent? And most people are shocked by how much time their phone sucks. So if you're on Facebook 5 hours a day, if you're on X 7 hours a day, maybe delete the app. Or sometimes I do this to mess with me and it annoys me, but I still do it to mess with me. If I'm on certain apps too much, I will rearrange them if it's something that I need to keep on my phone. Yeah, so like I was on, and this is what made me realize how bad I was. I was on Facebook and I deleted Facebook and I kept opening Twitter, which I didn't even have a Twitter account anymore. Well, I do, but I don't. But that's how unconsciously or subconsciously how often I was going to Facebook. So if I find myself with apps open that I don't remember opening because I did that, you
I
can
think
delete or
I,
move them. You'll be
Interesting.
shocked if
I
if you're
think
using it too much.
I think you made my examiner brain explode with that
Yeah,
tip.
it's a pain because then you have to figure out where everything is all again.
Yeah. But so there I use focus on my phone. So I have an iPhone, you can turn on focus and it blocks everything, or do not disturb, it blocks everything. And then I was worried because what if my kid's school needs to get a hold of me? What if my kids need to get a hold of me? You can tell the iPhone with certain people that this person can contact me even when do not disturb is on. And so
Yeah.
yesterday I'm sitting in court in the trial and I have my phone volume all the way down. I have the ringer all the way down. I have the do not disturb on. And suddenly my phone rings in the middle of the courtroom. I'm like, what is going on? It was my sister. My sister and my mom are two of the other people that can get through regardless of the status of my phone. And so I quickly shut it down. It was okay. And I didn't get in trouble with the judge. But yeah, there is if you have an iPhone, and I would assume Androids do it too.
Andrews do
But
it too.
Yeah.
if you have an iPhone, you can program it to say do not disturb, but let these people through. So you
Yep.
can do that.
Yeah. My wife was very clear that that setting would be very on. The phone, the only way the phone call will not come through is that the phone is dead. That's the
Right.
only way. So everything else, it's coming through for whatever reason it is. Just so I can ask, like, what do you want for dinner? That's literally what the ask is usually when those phone calls come in. So
We have a
yeah,
whole chapter on what do you want for dinner in the book.
there you go.
For real, 100%. I am not even joking.
Wow.
I
Well,
love it. I love it.
if you want to check out a copy of the book, again, Amazon.com, search up Tiffanie. You'll find it, Tiffanie with an IE, Tiffanie Kellog, two L's, one G. Her email address is tiffanie@tiffaniekellog.com. She's got her website is tiffaniekellog.com, tiffaniekellog.com. You can check out her website as well. Um, Gosh, congratulations on the launch of book number 4, Tiffanie.
I would agree.
Super excited. Woohoo. Thanks for having me back again,
Again.
to share hopefully a tidbit or two. I know we got in some big, heavy stuff with this off balance on purpose today.
Well, I normally don't announce the episode numbers in the episodes themselves. I typically put the episode numbers in the titles in the for Apple or wherever you're listening to the show. I put in the episode numbers there so I can track. You, Tiffanie, are episode 485. That means, George, we are 15 away from a
Woo!
fairly significant podcast milestone.
Apparently, it's a big milestone, man. It's
It
coming up.
is.
This is
And
good.
so we haven't quite figured out details, but Tiffanie, it may not be very long until you're back
Nope.
for
I would
appearance number
agree.
7, because we'd kind of kicked around the idea of having some of our favorite guests back for episode 500. So we're still working on the logistics for that. Otherwise, is there anything more before we let you go that you wanted to add, or anything that we didn't ask you that you wanted to talk about?
So y'all are in charge, y'all, the audience. You're in charge of your life, you're in charge of your calendar, you're in charge of your time. Most people let the business run them. Our vision for your life is that you run your business, you run your life, you get to have fun for the things that matter. All work and no play is not what this is about. It's about having a day that you love each and every day.
Love it.
Well, thank you, Tiffanie. We do appreciate you being a guest for the 6th time on the podcast. So thank you.
Thank
A
you. I
couple
look
other,
forward to number 7.
absolutely.
Yes, indeed.
A couple other housekeeping tips to knock out. We are still on Patreon, so if you want to support us, it's patreon.com/crushing debt. Also, George, I did just recently reactivate my Legacy Striders.
Yes.
So I'll be putting the link in the show notes. We've got the pancreatic cancer fundraiser coming up again, April 25, I believe, of 2026. Want to make sure I don't confuse that. I believe it's April 25 of 2026. That's a Saturday. So you can join my team. You can help support pancreatic cancer research, education, all that stuff in memory of my late wife, Melanie. Other than that, did we get everything in that we wanted?
I think we did. And more. What are you talking about?
And we
more.
did it in the time allotted.
Nice. I always like, oh, that's good too.
Okay, so thank you very much, Tiffanie, again for being a guest on the show. We do definitely support you. Congratulations again on the book launch. Definitely, the book is something you should have in your repertoire if you want to have more money at the end of the month rather than month at the end of the money. And we will talk to you in next week's episode of the podcast.
Thank y'all.